According to historical documents, in the Hung King or Lac King's dynasty, Viet people did have their own land. They knew how to flow water into the field, build earth edge to keep water in and let water out based on tides. During that time, paddy fields and people earning their life were near rivers and valleys with streamlines. Life was also peaceful. The king managed well both in terms of political and financial issues to provide a healthy life to his people. Therefore, the legend was left to the next generations. The people had agriculture-based and honest life. That peaceful time marked a legend in the history, and that king became a saint in memory of the Viet people. People not only considered him as the great king, but also worshipped him as an agricultural god. Therefore, every beginning of spring, when the first day of new farming starts, they hold an inviting ceremony to welcome the god to his temple, wishing his grants for a high-yield harvest, a happy and healthy life. Then, on March the 10th, agricultural calendar, when the paddy fields are fully grown, people hold the ritual ceremony on the Hung Mountain to commemorate his contributions and pray for rain during the summer to provide water for their paddy fields for a good harvest. The festival on March the 10th is held full of fun, such as chess games, wrestling, swinging, folk singing, Chong Quan singing, and Swan singing. On that day, Swan guilds in Kim Duk sing the welcome song for the king in the upper temple, telling the stories about Hung kings in public areas, Du Tien singing on the land in front of the temple gate. Swan singing and its practices are formed to worship the founder king, who is also known as the first agricultural god of the Viet people living in Van Lang. This art was formed even before people in Phu Thọ knew how to build village communal houses. At that time, people living in 4 villages, Tet, Phu Duc, Kim Doi, Kim Duc Commune, and An Thai, Phuong Lo Commune, still sang the king worship songs in small and simple shrines. It is said that about 2,000 years ago, 3 brothers of the Hung king, on their way to find land for their castle, took a rest during noon in a forest nearby Phu Duc village. They saw the kids, who were herdsmen, playing, wrestling and singing. The kings asked them to come over and taught some songs to the children. To commemorate this event, village people built the shrine on that land and called it Lai Len Shrine. These songs then later are called Swan singing. The legendary story about Swan singing is formed to explain the original circumstances, the founder, the performance of this kind of art in the lives of 4 Swan villages. Many scholars have considered these villages as the birthplace of Swan singing. As early as the beginning of the 17th century, villages in Phu Thọ started building village communal houses, which were the cultural community centres and worshipping places for the village guardian spirit. Every spring and fall time, the ceremonies are held at village communal houses to pray and worship to the gods. These are the times for Swan guilds to be invited for performance by the village communal houses located along the riversides of the Lo, Tao and Hong River of Van Lang. Presently these are Duan Hung, Phu Ning, Lam Tao, Tam Nom District, Viet Chi City, Phu Thọ Province, and Lap Tak and Vinh Tuong District, Vinh Phúc Province.
Cái tháng này chúng tôi tập từ mùng 6
Normally, at this month, we practice from the 6th to the 25th of the last month of the year. On the first day of the new year, we visit Lai Len Shrine, then the Chung Communal House. On the third day of the new year, we have performance at this Tet Communal House, and then we can have a break on the 4th and 5th. We move to Khao Mai on the 6th, then come back to Phương An, Tu Du, and So for the rest of the month. As regulation, Swan guilds have to perform on the first day of the new year for the king at the shrine, to invite the king to enjoy the show performed by the village people. In the morning of the first day of the new year, we brought offering fruits and betel areca nut to worship the king at the shrine, then invited him to listen to our singing at the communal house in the evening. After completing all offering procedures, the carriage combined of 8 young, unmarried village men who have not had a funeral in their family in the past year, and escorted by prenons, parasols, drums and gongs to conduct a king-carrying ritual from the shrine to the village communal house. There must be 4 young, unmarried girls walking under the carriage to sing Phụ Gia. When the carriage arrives at the village communal house, people complete all required ritual procedures. Then, in the evening, Swan guilds come back to the village communal house to perform the king ritual singing. After these singing nights, the Swan guilds are on the way to perform, which means they have to travel as tourists, since Swan singing and singers are not profit-making careers. They look forward to having the spring. Then they can sing for the king and ask for his support for a peaceful and prosperous year. With more than 400 years of travelling performance, Swan guilds have tightened the community relations, the Swan singing art with traditional folk arts at village communal houses. Therefore, they can modify traditional dancing to be Swan dance moves to meet the demand of God worshipping and love exchange singing between young people in host villages and Swan guilds. The Chong Kwan singing in Duk Bak to welcome the Swan singers on the new year is a proof for this argument. According to the regulations in Duk Bak village, on the 6th day of the new year, young village men wearing the carrying uniforms, white clothes, red turban on the head, red silk belt, and drums on the back will go to the village port to pick up Swan singers and take them to the village communal house. When the boats arrive, Swan singers are welcomed by drum sounds and greeting songs from the village men. Then they receive the drum handed by these men, and all the way to the village communal house they exchange songs for hours.
Con chưa có quay, chúng quân con chưa
Phu Ning, Y Ki, Tien Du, Cao Mai, Tang Mai, Ko Tik, Cam Doi, Tu Du, Hoang Chui, So, Tay Kok, Nong Chang, Du Lo, and Huang Non villages all practice greeting Swan guilds at village communal houses. Then the guild leader and male Swan instrumentalists are invited to have meals with the village authorities, while the female singers are hosted by the village officiating priest family. The friendly and warm welcoming attitude offered by village people to Swan guilds has created a tight and close relationship which leads to mutual responsibilities for holding king-worshipping singing at the New Year every year. This kind of relationship is named twinning relationship, known as Ket Nuok Nghĩa. There are many legendary stories that come from this practice. The Lê Xuân Lan princess once passed by Phu Ning village and heard the songs sung by the village people. She loved these songs. Later, she was the master of Tien Tao Pagoda in Huang Non village. When she passed away, she was worshipped as a goddess. Therefore, every year Huang Non village hosts the festival at the village communal house, and Swan Guild in Phu Ning has to come over to serve the singing for worship. Or the story in Phu Duc village. They sent people to Tu Zu village to make wood for building the village communal house. Since then, people in Tu Zu village had many accidents in their life. They had to carry out ritual practices asking for God's help. Luckily, Swan Guild in Phu Duc visited and performed ritual singing. After that, people in the village had a better life, and the practice of inviting Swan guilds to perform on the festival at the village communal house became village regulation. Every year, they bring 6 girls and 6 men to come over. All the girls are single. Every house hosts 2 men and 3 houses host 4 persons. It happens every year. Swan singing takes 3 days, from the 9th to the 12th.
Cứ 12 người sang, năm nào cũng thế, cứ mời là họ sang làm việc cho 3 ngày, hát ở bên này từ hôm mùng 9 đến
The twinning relation legendary story replaces written and stone documents reflecting the rites of singing at village communal houses. Moreover, this legend creates the spiritual glue linking the sentiment and responsibilities within a community between Swan guilds and villages. It has more enforcement power than any written document. Therefore, during the last 400 years, there has been no village in twinning relation forgetting to pick up Swan Guild in the festival of the village communal house. And Swan guilds perform their singing for worshipping the gods, not with profit-making purpose. This wonderful and closed relationship has created the culture of Swan region and the art of Swan singing in Hung King ritual practices in every village communal house in the former Van Lang, presently Phu Thọ province. Swan groups come here to perform in village communal houses, are Phu Nings, then Kim Dois and An Thais.
Cùng thời ấy thì phường Kim Đới, sau này ở trong đó có tên đổi sang là Kim Đái, và phường An Thái